You really have a great show tonight, and I know that you, like I, want to say the exact same. This show is really going to suck. That's right, but that's okay in this case,
it is.
Because the great thing about this show is it's all about vacuum forming, so it's really meant to suck.
That's right.
If it doesn't, it wouldn't work.
That's right. But first, last week, we did templating on site, and our homeowner has picked out Harmony solid surface for their countertops.
Okay.
And once they pick out a color, we're going to start fabricating.
And of course, the problem why they can't pick out the colors because it's a designer involved.
That's right. Well, that's true. That's true. But there's so many colors available. But anyway, so they're picking out Harmony, and that's acrylic solid surface, which we like to work with. So we're going to be doing our fabrication segments. Probably in 3 or 4 weeks, we'll start those, and we'll go from there.
We're really excited about that.
And we're starting a new schedule.
Yes, that's another thing we want to make sure you're all aware of. This time of year, and I'm sure a lot of you guys that are either fabricators or you're professional tradesmen, you know this is the time of year when the real show season really kicks into gear.
Right, and not our show.
No, not our show.
The real shows. The real shows.
The trade shows. And those are all getting ready to start up, and kind of good, bad, or indifferent, we're really heavily involved in those trade shows.
That's right. That's right. More than we want to be sometimes.
So
anyway,
that takes us.
That's where we're going to be. We're going to be doing trade shows. So what we're going to do, starting tonight, we're going to be on a 2-week schedule every other week. So we won't be on next week. We won't be doing reruns either. You just look the archives. But we're going to do every other week unless the every other week falls on a trade show night.
Okay.
And then we'll do the schedule according. So watch the show schedule and check the lineup, and you'll see what's happening. But in 2 weeks, we have solid surface ovens coming. We have one from Line-Rite, a strip oven, and we've got a brand new one from R.A. McDonald, and we're going to be showing you those and how they work, and I think that's going to be a really interesting segment for most of our viewers, since the majority of you are solid surface fabricators.
And that is a brand new oven too, as I understand
it. Brand new, yep.
So that's going to be something really exciting. So once again, just to really make sure that everybody understands, we're not going anywhere, but because of the travel demand that's going to be put on us.
Right.
And a lot of these shows, partly because of the show we have here, All About Tools Live, there's that demand for us to be at the shows because it is a personality draw.
And we're gonna personality draw.
Yeah. Well,
Who are we gonna see? We don't think anybody's coming to see us.
You didn't get the memo.
No, I didn't. Okay.
But so anyway,
and this is a dog in my pocket. I'm not happy to see you. So he's going to help us. This guy's going to help us a little bit later with one of our demonstrations.
I was concerned about that.
Yes, he is. So I just thought I'd hang on to him right here in my pocket.
I know you sleep with him at night. So
keep him warm. Okay.
Keep you warm.
We've got a guest tonight.
And we do. Who is that?
Ed Ferry from Quality Vacuum Products.
Out of?
Boston,
Concord, Massachusetts.
Concord, Massachusetts.
Good to see you. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Where we park our cars.
There you go.
Notice how we kind of make like we just met Ed, but he's been here all day setting up, but that's okay.
So I say from my perspective, I'm thrilled to have a fellow New Englander here because I grew up just outside of Boston too, but
yes.
I do say the letter R though.
That's right. So now I'm the minority.
You're used to that.
Okay, what do we got tonight, Ed?
All right. What we have here are vacuum systems for vacuum pressing and for vacuum clamping.
Okay.
And you have many choices in that. You have electric pumps, you have air-powered vacuum systems, and air-powered in both electro-pneumatic as well as all pneumatic. You have vacuum bags, you have frame presses.
Okay.
And what I'd like to do is just to go through a little bit on vacuum, how we define pumps, because that's one of the things you have to know.
Right.
And there are 2 parameters that define a vacuum pump, no matter whether it's an electric or an air-powered, and that's vacuum level, which relates to the pressure that it can generate. And the other one is vacuum flow, and that's the volume of vacuum air that it can pull in.
Okay.
And that's really what defines the differences between pumps. They pretty much all get the same vacuum level, 26, 27 inches of mercury.
Okay, very good.
But vacuum flow will go from anywhere from 1 cubic foot per minute up to 20 cubic feet per minute.
So that helps get the air out of the
bag,
bag or whatever.
Bag or frame press basket.
Okay, very good. Okay.
Now, there's reasons why you would pick an electric pump, and there's reasons why you would pick an air-powered one. You would go in an electric pump if you didn't have a compressor, or you didn't have a compressor big enough okay, to do what you want to do, to the speed of evacuation. Okay. The other reason some people go with electric pump, they don't want to leave their compressor on at night, and when they want to leave a job running overnight.
Okay. Now, I notice in the electric there's two different sizes here.
We actually have three sizes. This is a small 1 CFM. This is designed more for the homeowner, okay, because of its lower cost.
Okay.
It runs continuously. It's a long life pump. It'll run for, I think it's something like 8,000 hours is the life of the pump.
This is much like the pump that we have in the Beaver Easy Scene.
Correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
Very good. Okay.
It gets about 26 inches of mercury, and it pulls in just under 1 cubic foot per minute of air.
Now, why would someone need a pump like this versus a pump like the larger one?
Well, professionals will go for a bigger one because typically you have a bag, a bigger bag, some of them are frame presses, and you need that volume of vacuum air. You need to be able to pull in a lot of vacuum air, okay, to evacuate the bag. You can't wait 10 minutes to get a bag under pressure, for example.
So this would be the next size above this one?
Right.
And then there's one larger than that?
There's one. This is a 5 cubic foot per minute, and then there's a 10 cubic foot per minute. Okay.
Very good.
This is an automatic controller. You can get it with or without the controller. One of the nice things about our equipment is that they're upgradable. The pump is upgradable in that if you don't have the funds to start with for the controller, you can buy just the pump. You can hook it up to the bag, plug it into the wall, and just let it run continuously. The manufacturer says that if you plug this in today, it should run for 2 years continuously. That's the life of the pump.
Now, but it's still important to have the gauge, though.
That's right. When you buy it without the controller, this will come, it'll have a T on here, and it'll have a gauge on it. Okay. So you'll know what you're getting for vacuum.
Okay. Right, so it still has a gauge.
Right.
The only difference is you just don't have the controller there. You've got to...
Correct. Now, what this will do is when the pump gets to vacuum level, it'll shut off.
So why don't we let's hold this up so we can show our viewers what we've got here.
There's a vacuum gauge. This is a vacuum sensor, which is adjustable. This is a circuit breaker. And this is a three-way switch, one for vacuum bag, which will bring the sensor into the circuit.
It's actually upside down. Now that I got my glasses on, I can see that.
When you have it onto vacuum bag, this is in the circuit. When it gets to vacuum level, it'll shut the pump off. When it needs more vacuum, it'll turn it on
So
again.
this adjusts the level of vacuum that you're drawing?
No, it just turns it on and off. You can adjust the level. Okay, if you want less vacuum, you can adjust this so it shuts off at a lower pressure.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's just cycling it on and off.
Okay.
All right.
And the switch will bring that into the circuit. When you're on the other side, it bypasses that, and the pump will run continuously.
Okay.
Now, can you set these to where they're sucking too much?
Not in typical the woodworking application. Not typically. No.
Okay. It's not like crushing a bowl. Solid surface bowl, which I'm sure that anybody who's used vacuum has crushed a bowl or two in trying to work it out.
Yeah,
but let's say someone just wants to get started. These are Venturis?
Correct. This is a Venturi. This is the Venturi portion of it. It has an on-off valve, a gauge, and some other brass fittings.
Okay, so let's explain what a Venturi actually is.
Okay. The way a Venturi works is that compressed air runs down the center of it, and as it goes through, there's about 15 machine parameters on the inside here.
Okay.
So that the air goes very fast, and it opens up and spreads out and so on. And as it's going down there, vacuum air comes in 90 degrees from that flow of air, and it's entrained or pops into that into
There's that word again, entrained.
Entrained.
And comes,
we learned a new
comes
word
out with
tonight,
it.
Ken and I.
So when you turn it on, I don't know if you can hear that.
Okay.
Actually, you want to show it.
Yeah, you can actually show.
When you put your finger over the port, it actually immediately draws a vacuum.
So this has to run continually to have a vacuum on it.
That's right. Now we do make an additional kit that if you were running it with a bag, right, you could turn it on, you could pump down the bag, shut it off. See, when I shut this off, air came back and goes down the back end. It'll go right into the bag. It has a check valve and a gauge and a manifold and so on, so that when you shut it off, air will not go into the bag, and you'll have a gauge so you can read the vacuum level. And you can come back every 10 to 15 minutes and check it and turn it on if it needs more air.
Okay. Very
Or
good.
it actually needs to draw more air out of the bag.
More air out of the bag.
There
Right.
you go. Okay.
All right, very good. So that's a
And they come in-
Venturi.
Right, and they come in different sizes, and the difference between them is the vacuum flow.
Right
Yes.
here, the size of this
Right.
port. You have one that's smaller. This would obviously draw less
This
air,
is right. That's
and this will draw much more.
right. That's correct.
And the great thing about these is, even if you were buying these to start out with, when you want to upgrade, let's say you find your demands are increasing, or you're going to larger bags, you want to increase flow, or even do multiple bags, you could actually take and trade these in for their full market value at the time against one of these other machines.
The Venturi portion of it goes inside the box, the control box, and you'll get whatever that is selling for at the time.
Out of the price
Right,
of...
right, that's right. It'll be subtracted.
So that's
So you never lose your investment in this.
So
All right, well, that's a
it's
good
just
deal.
an excellent value right up front. You're safe.
Yeah.
It's like buying gold.
And if you have a slow one, it can be remachined to make it faster. There's 4 models here. This is the smallest one. This is the in-between one. Okay?
Uh-huh.
So they can be.
But you're not a doctor, right?
No. What does that have to do with anything?
John's worried about these things.
I mean, do you have to be a doctor to remachine? Is that the point? Okay. Let's get back on track.
Okay.
Now,
I'm in train.
In train,
on
right.
track. These are air powered. The Venturis in here can have anywhere up to 3 in a box. That's why they're upgradable.
Okay.
Right? So that if you
So
start with a
this
mid-size
Venturi is
unit,
actually in here. So
Right.
this is just a cover.
right? It's a controller. It's
Okay.
got the sensor, the on-off, the gauges,
Gotcha.
and so on.
Okay.
So that you could send it back, and if you had a 5 CFM unit, which all of these are, and you wanted to make this a 10 CFM, you'd send it back. We'd put in the other stuff, the brass and all that other stuff with the Venturi and the solenoid.
Okay.
And you would have a unit that's twice as fast, and it would cost you about $200 more
Okay.
for twice the evacuation speed.
So on any of these things, once you really have the initial components, any upgrading is just adding
On
The
the air
additional
power.
parts?
On the air power.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So yes, they come back and we can upgrade them.
Do other companies offer that same?
No.
Okay, so you're pretty much the only one that does that.
Right, and we're unique also because we'll do specials. We've made special size units for different companies to meet a specific application.
Okay.
And the same goes for the bags and the frame presses. We made a frame press for a guy that was 7 feet wide and 15 feet long. He had
Wow.
a very big table to press up.
Okay.
This also comes in what we call the all-in-one unit. They all can be used for clamping, which we'll demonstrate later.
Right.
Okay, but that's one of the advantages of these units. You actually get 2 applications out of it. You get the veneering capability, the pressing, and you also get vacuum clamping, working with vacuum jigs and fixtures
Okay.
with one unit. And it's also upgradable. If you start with just the veneering unit, you can send it back, and we can add the required components to make it a clamping unit also.
Okay. Very good.
You have
These are the bags.
you go with a pump.
Yep.
You either you select a bag or a frame press,
Okay.
or this is what we call a quick press. This is a small unit, but we make them 30 inches wide by 72 inches high.
Okay, so let's touch on that a second. Okay, this is a frame press.
A quick press.
What is the difference between a quick press and a frame press?
Well, a frame press, you would make the tabletop. To do a 4x8 sheet, for example,
Okay.
you would only get the top part and the gasket material and the lifters and things like that. And you would make it the table.
Oh, okay.
And
All right.
obviously it takes up a lot of space.
Right.
This quick press, being 30 inches wide and about 72 inches high,
Mm-hmm.
all right, is like this, only bigger. I can now take this, I can put this in the rack where I store my lumber. I can put it anywhere. I
okay.
can put it
I got
away.
it. Yep.
I take it out. It's immediately available.
And this just locks and flips open.
That's correct.
Okay.
And on the regular size one, you can do about 6 doors. You can put 2 doors face to face.
But because of the length,
Because of the length and the width.
Something like that has so much more height. You can handle a lot more.
That's
shape.
correct. These go as high as 24 inches high as standard. We made them as high as the tops as high as 40 inches.
Oh, okay. All right.
Again, it's a special for
But that allows you to deal more with kind of curving shapes, whereas that is strictly flat goods and something
That's
like
correct. That's correct. And you can also do a lot of panels in there. The advantage of the frame presser over the bag is that you can lay your work up there, close the lid down.
Okay.
And we've made them for guys because they want to do 20 panels at a time.
All right. So if someone had a stack of doors, for instance, they want to do, they could stack them all up in the press, put
They
the
could
vacuum to it. All right. So obviously you're going to increase the time
Right,
having everything
right,
set up.
Right.
Now you were mentioning earlier that also guys that do contact cement
Right.
will use a press like this instead of rolling it with a
Right.
J roller or.
That's right. Because the press gives you 1,800 pounds per square foot of even and uniform pressure.
Okay.
Okay? That's the big advantage of the press, is that even and uniform pressure.
All right.
So
Now-
it presses everything.
But when you have a form, any sort of a free form or a curve, do you have to have a male to the female to really make it work?
No.
Okay.
No. You just have to have one form, and basically the top of the bag is your other side of the form.
But what if you did multiple, let's say, raised panels?
Well, you can't do multiple raised
Okay.
panels, one on top of the other.
Okay.
They got to be flat.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Very good. Good to know.
All right.
All right.
Now, what
So-
is the difference on this unit right here?
This is all pneumatic. This is a new unit. It's all pneumatic. Okay, no electricity required. As you all know, that pneumatic tools are more reliable long-term wise. This is more expensive, but from a reliability point of view, we actually give you a 2-year warranty on this, where you get a 1 year on that, and the manufacturer gives you a 1 year on the electric pump. So you don't have to deal with that extra cord in the shop also.
What kind of things, when you're doing vacuum forming, what kind of things are what I would call consumables?
Oh, in vacuum pressing?
Yeah, the things that wear out that they're going to replace on a regular basis.
Basically, the only thing you replace would be a bag.
Okay.
Or the top of a frame.
All right.
over
And what
time.
about your gaskets and things like that? Do you replace
Well,
those as well?
yeah, when you replace the bag, you'll get gasket material to go with it and so on.
Now, is that just weather stripping,
No,
basically?
No, it's a special. It's got to have the right density. I've tried stripping other people have. It collapses and it doesn't come back. It doesn't spring back.
Okay. All right. And that's important. Okay.
To give you an idea of the bags, there's 20 and 30 mil vinyl as well as the same in poly. A bag like this, a 20 mil poly bag, if you were doing flat panels, you should get at least 300 pressings out of it if you're doing it correctly.
Okay.
Now, we
You get
talked
a lot
earlier
more.
today, you can also get silicone bags if you're dealing with temperatures, let's say,
That's right.
greater than 200 degrees.
Right. That's correct.
And Ken had asked Ed about the possibility of using a bag with solid surface materials. And actually, it can work with a silicone bag. You could actually heat the material up in an oven and then put it into a silicone bag and form it. But I don't know how practical that would be. There's certain applications that...
It's just expensive, that's the problem.
Right.
But how long would you expect a silicone bag to last? 300 applications again, too? Or?
Oh, no. Silicone, if you're doing it correctly, will probably give you 2,000.
Oh,
So
well,
it would
I
be
mean,
practical.
that very well may be worth it then.
Okay.
Yeah.
After our break, which we're going to have in just a second here, we're going to demonstrate some different things, how to do the vacuums.
How to do some
okay?
vacuum pressing. and
So
on.
we'll see if we can get some chuckles. I don't know. We'll see what happens here. Ed's kind of a tough act here. You know, we just can't get him to smile.
Is this a funny subject?
We told people that this would really suck.
Well, I can make any subject funny. It's just a matter of which way you want to go. But anyway, we'll be back after the break. Thanks for watching.
Okay, let's zip all this